What's up, guys? This is JMF Golf. I'm Josh.
And I'm Marley.
And we're going to do a little what's in the bag for what we're throwing for the 2026 season. Starting off with putting putters, I have the Electron base plastic spins. These things feel real comfortable in the hands, dead straight for my putts and the type of putting that I do. So these are a staple in my bag.
I have the Electron firm plastic Pixel and a Silva Sarnen one because she's my favorite. And you know, I've played around with putters and these are the only ones that I feel comfortable with. So they're staying.
Next, we're going to talk about our throwing putters. Currently, I bag 4. I have the Socastee Spectacular Watt. Thing's dead straight, and you put on whatever line that you want, holds it. We got our Electron Medium Proxy. This one, great hand feel, little hyzer flip, get a little bit of turn with it. Can't go wrong having a Proxy. For something that just has a little bit of stability in it, I have the 2025 Gyropalooza Ohm. Has just a little bit of beat on it, but as a throwing putter, zero effect on this. Dead straight with a reliable finish. And then last but not least, we have the Axiom Tempo. This thing is an absolute staple in my bag for dead straight, beef at the end. It's kind of beat in just a little bit. It's 175 grams, so it gets the job done.
All right, so I have the Pitch. Yep. I don't really use it as much. I kind of pull it out when I'm feeling confident with it. It really just kind of stays there because it's one of my first discs and I just keep it. Then I have the Fierce. This is more understable. I like to use it when I have to do an Anheuser route, just kind of like a short pitch up. Again, don't really use it that much. This is my Zone. This I use way too often. It kind of has like a puddle top going on right now, but it's got a reliable finish at the end, although if I throw it hard enough, it is pretty stable, pretty straight. So
it's a workhorse in your bag for sure.
Yeah, it's been beaten up. Then I have my Watt. I got my first birdie with this Watt. It's, again, very straight, sometimes has a finish. It really depends on how I'm throwing it, the angle I'm throwing it at. And then my Silva Sarnen Proxy. This one's kind of gotten a little bit understable for me, but again, it usually is pretty reliable with a straight up shot, sometimes a little finish, sometimes I Anheuser it because I forget that angles matter.
Next, we're going to talk about our mid-ranges. Currently, I bag 5 of them, starting with my most understable Neutron Uplink. This thing is pretty flippy for me. Every time I throw it, I know it's going left. By the way, I forgot to preference. I'm a backhand lefty player, righty forehand. I know it's the same flight, stupid, but that's just my disc golf game. Next, we have the Detour. Marley actually dyed this one herself. I call this one the Sherbert Detour. Perfect for hyzer flips to dead straight, or if I throw it flat, I'll get a nice little drift with a little bit of finish at the end. Next we got the Hex. I feel like this is a staple in almost every MVP bag, and this thing is just reliably dead straight. Of course, when it runs out of speed, I get my little finish at the end. For a little bit of a headwind mid-range, I got the Proton Matrix 5.4 -1.2. Feel like it flies exactly like those numbers say. Just great into headwind. If I want to throw the Hex, this is the choice. And then absolute beef for me, this is the 2025 Gyropalooza Pyro. Feels comfortable on the backhand. Probably only get about 230 off of it for absolute power, but I know for a fact it's going to finish right. Maybe a little bit of skip, and it feels comfortable on the forehand. I can chop it. Really good for shaping lines.
All right, so first off, I put the Pearl back in my bag. This was one of my beginner discs. I honestly haven't thrown it in months, but I want to see if I can get a good Annie turnover type shot with it, so we're testing it out. And then I have my Paradox. Thank you. My brain stopped. This, again, understable. I really tend to go for understable discs, but this is more of an understable mid-range. I've been turning it over and turning it into a roller a lot, so that's why I'm playing around with the pearl, but I love it still, and it's really pretty. And then I have the Balance. It's a lab second. I haven't really thrown it much. I'm kind of playing with it. Definitely overstable. I have my Hex. This is a workhorse in my bag. Pretty much straight, has a little bit of finish, but I can rely on this a lot. Then I have my Detour.
Look at that die. It's pretty cool.
It's really pretty. It's definitely an understable mid-range for me. Definitely has a good turn. Sometimes I just throw it wrong and it ends up being beefy for some odd reason, but that's just because of me. And then I have my Gyropalooza Pyro. I'm trying to learn forehand, so I've been using it for that. Haven't really thrown it as much backhand, but once in a while I will if I get into those sticky situations.
Next, we're gonna move on to our fairway driver slots. I bag a lot of fairways, starting with the most understable first, my 6-speed Craves. I bag a 156 Fission Crave, dyed this one myself. This one, hyzer flip to turnover, or flat, way left, and heck, I can even put it on a great roller. Next one is also a Fission Crave. This one is 174. For me, this flies pretty dead straight. I'll get a little bit of turn on it, comes back at the end, does exactly what a 6.55 -1-1 Crave is supposed to do. Next up is my Servo. This one's 173 Neutron plastic. Dyed this one myself. This one might get replaced by the Boca coming out soon. Supposed to be getting that within the next month or so I'm eager to see how that one flies. But this one flies pretty true to the numbers. Throw it dead straight, has a nice little reliable finish, pretty good in the headwind. And if I want something that's just absolute beef, goes to my Proton Resistor, 171 gram. This thing is just absolute beef. Backhand, forehand, no matter what, it's going right. Next step up is my Prism Neutron Plastic Trance 8.5 -1-2. For some reason, on how I throw, the numbers are kind of iffy. Some days I get to do the -2-1 things, other times it's just beefy, but it's pretty reliable for me. I've kind of known the ins and outs of what this disc does. Only break it out a couple times during the round, especially here at Splendor City. There's only a couple holes that I'll throw it on, but definitely get some use at other courses. Next up is my Fission Insanity. This one's 166 grams, so a little bit of lightweight. For me, perfect hyzer flip to dead straight. This thing flies forever with a ton of glide, and we did a pretty cool spin die over here at Another Round Myrtle Beach with Chris. His class was fantastic. If you haven't checked out Another Round Myrtle Beach, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Lots of options to choose from in his shop. He's just a great guy to talk with, and he's great. And then if I want something that's even flippier than that, I have my Impulse Neutron Plastic. This one is kind of finding its way in and out of the bag, just depending on the day, the wind conditions. Again, hyzer flip, and I'll actually get some good drift out of it. Or if I put it on a real Annie, I can get a nice roller with it. So between this one and the Insanity, all depends on kind of wind conditions, but I rely on the Insanity just a little bit more.
All right, so I have the Rhythm in my bag. It's another lap second. I actually stole this from him. I don't really use it as much because it pretty much does the same thing as the next fairway driver that I'm gonna tell you about, but it's in there, I'm playing with it, I'm figuring it out. Then I have the Leopard 3. This is a workhorse.
That she also stole from me.
Yes, also stole from him. I can really put it on any line and it does what I need it to do. I can rely on it to go straight, a little bit to the right, to the left, depending on what I want. And then I have the Volt. This guy's a beefy guy. He doesn't get thrown much, but if I try to do a forehand or just need that extra beef, he'll show up. Then I got my Ozone, as we call it, the ooze. Out of a joke. I've been throwing this a lot more. I really like the flight that it has. It has a nice S flight to it. I can rely on it. And when I just can't throw my distance drivers, I tend to go to this. Next, I have my Silva Saarinen Tales of Terror Insanity. It's beefy for me. I think it's just the plastic, but it's definitely beefy for me. But I'm still trying to play with it, trying to learn to throw it. And then for understable, I have my Impulse. I love this one. I can rely on it when I need that left turning flight. It's a neutron plastic. We dyed it, so it's really pretty, but definitely love this disc.
And let's talk about our distance drivers. Starting up first, I bag 2 trails. I bag a surprisingly 166 neutron trail. This one has just a little bit of dome to it, but it's really comfortable in the hands. Most people would think that it being lightweight becomes flippy. I haven't found that to be the case, especially for my arm speed. I can get just a little bit of S-flight to it, otherwise it is kind of mostly a dead straight shooter. And follow that up is our Tales of Terror Proton Trail. There's a lot of hype with this disc, so I had to give it a chance to throw it myself. For me, it's just a little bit beefier than that trail. I don't really throw it on in forehand at all, kind of backhand only with this, but it's reliable, pretty dead straight, with a reliable finish to the end. This one is surprisingly one of the bigger workhorses in my bag. It's the Streamline Jet 11.5 -32. 173 grams for those who want a bombing S-flight that just goes forever with a ton of glide. Highly recommend giving this a shot. It's a surprisingly underrated disc in my opinion, but this thing goes far. And then I bagged 2 time lapses. One is a Simon Line Fission time lapse. This one is in 158 grams. For me, this one is still a little bit beefy just because of my arm speed, but every now and then I'll get that nice S-flight to it, especially if I really rip on it and I know that it'll fight back at the end. With it being lightweight, I can get a lot of glide with it as well, and it's pretty fun. And this one is the new, I believe this is the V3 time lapse. It's the Lab Second that we just got out of the 2025 Gyropalooza box. This one is 173 grams. Time lapse, just like a destroyer. It's beefy. Get it pretty straight, but I know for a fact it is going to dump and fade at the end. So that is my bag with 2 honorable mentions at the end.
All right, so start off with my trail. Definitely is one of those discs that goes straight, has a reliable finish at the end. I don't have as much of an arm speed as him, so I haven't gotten it to go perfectly straight yet, but I'm getting there. We'll get there one day. And then my favorite distance driver are my waves. I bag 3 of them. So I have my R2 wave. This one I know is gonna have that perfect S-flight, have a finish to it. This is new in my bag and I am loving it. Then I have the 2023 champion Simon Lizotte wave. This one is kind of like a longer trail. It's gonna go straight. It's gonna have that reliable finish at the end. Again, I love it. And then my OG Fission wave. This one is flippy. I have to put it on a little bit of hyzer for it to go straight, but I can manipulate it. That's what I like the best about it. It's beaten to death. It's been run over by a car, but it is not going anywhere. And then I have my Orbital. This one, it's kind of iffy. Some days it likes to completely flip over on me. Some days it likes to go dead straight. Some days I really can't throw and it ends up overstable somehow, which makes no sense because it's an 11.5 -4.51 and I can still manage to make it overstable. And then my real beefy dude is my Photon. It's in fission plastic. This is spin die, kind of like what he did. We did it at the class. I just put this in my bag, so I'm still playing with it, but it's definitely overstable for me.
My last 2 honorable mentions are kind of my utility discs. I also have the Pitch. This is my Lime to her Lemon edition. Again, just like the Glitch, it's a very fun practice disc to throw catch with, warming up before a round, or even in those situations where you could pretend that you're throwing catch with the basket. It's reliably pretty good. Then last but not least is my Neutron range. I used to throw the Berg. That thing was really fun. The first time I threw that, I actually holed out from about 80 feet. Shout out to Ken for giving me that back up in Oakholm. But with having 100% MVP Axiom Streamline, I figured I'd have to give it a shot. And I actually like this one just a little bit better. The hand feel is great. The plastic is fantastic. Holds whatever line that you put it on. Doesn't have a ton of glide, so I use those kind of for those windy up shots. And yeah, it's a great workhorse in my bag.
And then my utility disc is a Rolo, and I quite literally only use it to do tomahawks. But it gets me out of the woods very well, and it's kind of pretty, so it's staying in the bag for now.
Well, that's what's in our bags for the 2026 season. It might change by the end of the year, might stay the same. Who knows? There's a lot of new stuff coming out there on the market, and we'll be sure to test that. Thanks for joining. We'll see you soon.